Hi everybody, this is Dr. McNamara. We're going live and we're going to talk about this CoQuinone 30. So let's get started with that. I have a couple of cards here. So what we're going to do is talk about coenzyme Q10. Coenzyme Q10 or coenzyme CoQuinone 30, as we like to call it in USANA. It is probably one of the most important nutrients in your body. We have it from the time we're born. We have coenzyme Q10 in our body, also known as ubiquinone. It's in the form of ubiquinol in our body. So our cells make ubiquinol. That's the natural state of the ubiquitous coenzyme Q10. It's used in the mitochondria, and all our cells have mitochondria that make the energy. For you to think, for you to function, for your heart to beat, for anything to happen, you need energy, right? That's the whole reason that you breathe. You breathe oxygen to be used together with glucose, your sugar that you eat. So the sugar and the oxygen come into the mitochondria inside the cells, and the mitochondria produces ATP. The ATP, adenosine triphosphate, that's kind of like the that's the energy, the state of stored energy, and that state of stored energy is what we use for any cells to do anything. To make the cells divide, you have to make new DNA, and the cell can divide with each cell having the copy of the DNA. So to replicate DNA, you need ATP. To get ATP, you need mitochondria, and part of that is coenzyme Q10, CoQ10. So to make cells, to make proteins, to make hormones, to think, to breathe, to move one muscle, for one nerve to fire, you need ATP, which is produced by the mitochondria, which comes about with CoQ10. So the importance of CoQ10 can't be understated. So I want to bring up a couple things. All right. This is what we can think of. CoQ10, it makes use of fuel more efficient. So you can think about your car. You have fuel, you have gasoline going into the engine. The gasoline for us is glucose, sugar. Well, gasoline in the engine is made more efficient with fuel additives. So think of CoQ10 as a fuel additive. So that's there to make things work. Well, a couple things I want you to understand is that here's a myth. CoQ10 only benefits the heart. Well, that's not true. Although the heart is greatly benefited from coenzyme Q10 because your heart's beating all the time. As a matter of fact, your heart is such an energy dependent organ. In other words, the cells need those energy for the heart to beat all the time. Your heart's beating, what, 60, 80 times per minute, and then when you exercise, it goes up to 100 and 120 beats per minute. So it's beating all the time, and to have all that energy, the cells have tremendous numbers of mitochondria. Each cell of the heart has about 5,000 mitochondria per cell. Can you imagine it? That's a lot of mitochondria. And so that's using a lot of sugar, a lot of oxygen. Again, there's only one reason you breathe oxygen, and that's to be used in the mitochondria. So the heart's beating all the time. Now, what happens if you deplete coenzyme Q10 from the heart? Is it possible to have congestive heart failure? Is it possible to have cardiomyopathy? Is it possible to have other problems with the heart if you don't have coenzyme Q10, if you don't have enough oxygen? Think about if you're not getting enough oxygen to your heart attack, you die. If you don't have enough glucose coming into your system to keep your heart going, your heart fails and you die. And coenzyme Q10 is the same thing. But like I said, when you're young, well, all our bodies make coenzyme Q10, but when you're young, you make relatively more coenzyme Q10, but as you age, it declines. And you get some from your food. You get about 5 to 10 milligrams of coenzyme Q10 from a good diet, natural basis. But like I said, the myth was it only used in the heart. Not so. What about the brain? The brain and nerves. So the brain and nerves, they need oxygen, as you know. The whole thing is if you get hypoxia, low oxygen levels, you go unconscious. If you get low blood sugar levels, then you go unconscious. And if your coenzyme Q10 levels are too low, then you can't use that oxygen or sugar anyway, and you go unconscious. So coenzyme Q10 is very much needed. Actually, CoQ10 is used in the cells, in the mitochondria, like I said, to make everything more efficient. And coenzyme Q10 depletion from the brain, could it lead to Alzheimer's disease? Could it lead to Parkinson's disease? Yeah, actually, it could, because the studies show that those with lower levels of coenzyme Q10 are more likely to develop dementia and these other diseases like Parkinson's disease. Why is that? Well, the mitochondria have to be healthy inside the cells, and when the mitochondria become dysfunctional and wear out, and the more oxidation is happening inside the mitochondria. That's, as a matter of fact, that's what's happening when you split the sugar apart with the oxygen. It's oxidation. It blows out the membranes of the mitochondria, and the mitochondria can blow out and become dysfunctional. So dysfunctional, decaying mitochondria is actually one of the #1 causes of aging and diseases. Almost every single disease can be related to worn out mitochondria. So if you have something that can help nourish and protect the mitochondria, let alone renew the mitochondria, then you've got something there that can help your body and your system go on in a healthy manner. So it can't be understated how important the coenzyme Q10 is to keeping the mitochondria healthy, because the coenzyme Q10 help reduce the oxidation inside the mitochondria, and so can alpha lipoic acid. So does alpha lipoic acid. Well, besides the heart, now the brain and the nerves, what about the liver? The liver and the brain both have about 2,000 to 3,000 mitochondria per cell. The heart has 5,000. The brain and liver has about 2,000 to 3,000 mitochondria. That means these are highly energy dependent organs. Your liver is an amazing organ doing several hundred functions all the time, from regulation of sugar to hormones to, of course, let alone the detoxification of your all the bad stuff that you eat or drink. The detoxification process happens. So your liver can be damaged when the coenzyme Q10 levels decrease. With age, your coenzyme Q10 levels decrease, and there's other conditions as well. Okay, moving on. What are other organs? How about the GI tract, the stomach, the small intestines, the large intestines are all dependent upon coenzyme Q10. Because there's a lot of cellular turnover, especially in the intestinal lining. So when the intestinal lining is worn out, it needs to be replenished. This takes energy to replenish it. It takes energy to bring in the nutrients from your food. So these things are very, very important. See the dogs in the background. The reproductive system. The reproductive system is also very energy dependent upon things. So we have both female and male reproductive system. There have been studies that shown with coenzyme Q10, with men using coenzyme Q10, that they actually have better sperm morphology. That's the shape of the sperm production, and sperm, what do I want to say it? The cells, the sperm can swim, so better swimming action. Speaking of swimmers, what about physical activity? So not just swimmers, but runners, and not just runners, but anybody doing physical activity. The studies have shown that those athletes who consume about a couple hundred milligrams, 200 to 300, 400 milligrams per day, have more energy. They have more endurance. They have less recovery time. So the point is that your muscles of your body, let alone your heart, need the coenzyme Q10. And speaking of exercise, you obviously have to breathe. The lungs are very important for, obviously, where the oxygen gets transferred across the cell membranes and through the alveoli. The oxygen creates oxidation, and so the coenzyme Q10 helps reduce the oxidation as it helps make the cells in the lung more efficient, and then you can actually breathe better. Think about could it be that those with asthma could benefit from coenzyme Q10? Yeah, they could. Could it be those people with blood pressure issues, heart issues, liver issues, brain issues, or concerned about those organs could benefit from coenzyme Q10? Yeah, they could, because the studies show that to be the case. What about this? Is this important to anyone? Lifespan. When we talk about lifespan, we talk about helping maintain the function and health of all your cells and all your organs throughout your body. And the study has shown that that they did a study with worms. They gave them worms some coenzyme Q10 and it showed that it increased their lifespan. In mice, they've done the same thing. Given coenzyme Q10 to mice, it increased their lifespan by 10%. If you kind of transpose that to humans, that would be about an extra 9 to 10 years. It could be. Now, nobody's ever seen that to be the case, so that study hasn't been done, so we're just kind of conjecturing. But even if you don't have a longer lifespan, the studies have shown that when coenzyme Q10 is used in animals or species that do not increase the lifespan, it's improving their functionality. They're acting more youthful, more energetic, displaying more youthful activities, including reproductive activities, if you know what I mean. So anyway, here's what I've been saying. CoQ10 declines with age and certain health conditions, and including the use of statin drugs. Many of you know that I've written the book, The Cholesterol Conspiracy, about how statin drugs, the drugs that lower the cholesterol, they lower the coenzyme Q10 levels. And that's why they can damage the liver. That's why you have to have your liver enzymes checked every 6 months to make sure these drugs are not killing you. Now, I'm not giving you medical advice. Don't take what I say as medical advice. As a matter of fact, anything I have to say does not mean to diagnose, treat, cure, mitigate, or prevent any disease. And of course, check with your doctor before you do anything. But the point is, if it declines with age and certain health conditions, then what are we going to do about it? We need to supplement, right? Here's a myth. Myth, ubiquinol is the best form of coenzyme Q10. That's a myth. Although our body makes ubiquinol, there's also known, because some companies will promote that as, supplement manufacturers will promote that as the best form to be obtained. Well, studies haven't proven that to be the best form when you have such things as solubilized ubiquinone. You see, when they promote themselves, they'll promote themselves as saying ubiquinol is more absorbable than ubiquinone. Well, that's true. It is more absorbable than ubiquinone, but it's not more absorbable than solubilized ubiquinone. Solubilized ubiquinone is there to help it be solubilized. It's fermented in the laboratory and then being in a form that's highly dissolvable, soluble, and then highly absorbable. Coenzyme Q10 is fat soluble, so it gets into the system really well. So when people go out and supplement with coenzyme Q10, don't be seduced by low prices. People go to the big warehouse shopping stores, the big ones that you can, the cost companies and things like that, cost company warehouses, and they look for low priced coenzyme Q10. Well, what happens, they may not get the amount that they think they're getting. If they're trying to get on 100 milligrams or even 300 milligrams per day, guess what? They may not be getting it. Just remember this motto. My motto is always this: cheap is not a value. Cheap is never a value. When has cheap ever been a value? What you want is if you think about it, some people will spend more money maintaining their car, even the car engine. What about our engines in our cells, the mitochondria? If we give it the right stuff, the right dose, and the potency and quality, then we're going to be able to be much better in being healthy. So you want to look for a product that has solubilized ubiquinone, and it combined with alpha-lipoic acid, because the coenzyme Q10 and alpha-lipoic acid are used together in the mitochondria. Actually, the use of alpha-lipoic acid they're not both an antioxidant, can protect the oxidation that's going on inside the mitochondria, but they help make the transporting of electrons more efficient. They help the burning of sugar more efficient, so your metabolism is better. Many times our metabolic rate goes down and we're just tired, fatigued, we can't think straight. Well, not only do we need fuel, sugar, carbohydrates, not only do we need oxygen, but we need coenzyme Q10 and alpha-lipoic acid. When those two are combined in the same supplement, then you have a winning combination. So the question then comes up is, how much do you need? What dosage of coenzyme Q10 would you need to stay healthy? Well, again, like I said earlier, in your food, your diet, a healthy diet, you're getting about 5 to 10 milligrams per day. And your body's making some as well. So when you're young, that might be okay. And that's why kids are kind of bouncing off the walls and jumping over, puddles on the street. But as you age, you don't bend down for that quarter on the sidewalk anymore. You don't bend over for the nickel. You don't maybe bend over for $1 or something like that, but that's about it, because you're getting kind of old in your mind and your body, and you don't feel as much energy. But by supplementing with coenzyme Q10, you're going to do a lot better with energy. And you're not going to be jittery like caffeine will jitter you up. Coenzyme Q10 helps give you the natural energy. So here's a kind of a rule of thumb. Is that upside down? No. Wait, that is upside down, sorry. I have to do this backwards and upside down. All right, from about age 20 to 40, I suggest considering 30 to 60 milligrams at minimum per day. This is minimum. This is to help maintain just the minimum good cellular functioning. You can take more than this if you wish. Which reminds me, what's the toxic dose of coenzyme Q10? Well, there hasn't been studies shown that those given up to 3,000 milligrams per day, no toxicities noticed. All right, so here's the rule of thumb. Age 20 to 40, about 30 to 60 milligrams per day. If you're less than 20, can you take coenzyme Q10? Yes. Yes, you can. I'm just giving you a rule of thumb. From age 40 to 60, I suggest about 60 to 200 milligrams per day, depending on what you want to do. If you're an athlete, then you want more stamina, endurance, then you might want to take 200 to 300 to 400 milligrams per day. My son, when he was playing high school track, when he was doing high school track, I was giving him 400 milligrams per day. And he was doing really, really well. Many of the people I talk to, triathletes, I suggest 300 to 600 milligrams per day because they need a lot of energy. So again, this is just a rule of thumb for the average person. So from over the age of 60, consider 100 to 300 milligrams per day. If you're taking a statin drug, which I would never do, but I'm not suggesting you don't, talk to your doctor about everything, but I wouldn't. You might want to look at the cholesterol conspiracy. All right, statin drugs, if you're taking a statin drug, you want to take at least add 100 milligrams to these levels. Not 100 milligrams, but add 100 milligrams to this, okay? And then if you have heart is challenged, or have any brain is challenged, or your lungs are challenged, you might want to add another couple hundred milligrams to whatever I'm suggesting here. So again, that's not making a claim of anything. That's just helping support those tissues as you go. I found a product that I think is one of the best out there. I take a product that I think is one of the best out there. Oh, here we go. In my health pack, my personalized health pack, I have 100 milligrams of a coenzyme Q10 product with alpha lipoic acid. This product is, to me, I look at this and I see life. I see my mitochondria being energized. I see my mitochondria being protected. I see my brain, the eyes, skin, even the skin needs coenzyme Q10. There's no tissue that doesn't need coenzyme Q10. There isn't any tissue in your body, any organ in your body that would not benefit from this capsule, this coenzyme Q10 with alpha lipoic acid. What's the product? CoQuinone. There's either 30 or 100 milligrams. This is the 100 milligram capsule. You can get 30 milligram capsules in the bottle. So which one's better? Well, I don't know. How much love do you need? Is more love better than less love? Yeah, more coenzyme Q10 is better than less coenzyme Q10. If you can afford it, I'd suggest getting my health pack and getting a coenzyme Q10 100 milligrams in your supplement at least twice a day. Well, at least once a day, if not better, twice a day. If you want to have a boost in energy, 200 milligrams twice daily, if you can do that. Again, there's no downside to that. I wouldn't see anything you couldn't do. I mean, I'm sure there's limitations, within reason, of course. Come here, doggy. Come here, doggy. If you have any questions about coenzyme Q10, I'll take some, and then I'm going to close this out. Come here, Cody. Come here. Come here. And some of you asked to see Cody. He's got a little trim recently. Come here, puppy. Okay, puppy. Even doggies could benefit there. Cutie, cute dog. I don't know where Kaylee went, but okay, she's somewhere. All right, a couple questions here. I got to put on my glasses for this. If you had any questions, I'll be glad to take them. If you don't, then that's fine. I know that some of you will be seeing the recording of this, so you can check it out later. But if you're taking USANA's CoQuinone 30 or 100 milligrams, you're on the right track. If somebody's younger, if they're children, I don't see any problem with taking the 30 milligrams of CoQuinone 30. Now, that's not USANA's stance on it, but that's my stance on it. So that's my personal information. So nothing I said here in this videotape can apply to anybody, be responsible other than myself. All right, so Melanie says, good timing. Literally just had a client ask you yesterday about it, so you can talk to them about it more. All right, well, I hope that this helped you with the coenzyme Q10. I hope that you take it. Hope that you consider suggesting it to other people. Some of you asking about protocols for certain diseases. Sorry, I cannot answer that here in this forum, in this group. That's not where I do this information. So sorry, I can't answer those specific things on protocols for diseases or disorders. But it can support your blood pressure. It can support your heart, support your brain, support your body, etc. Have a good day. Go out, take your coenzyme Q10, take your CoQuinone 30 or 100 milligrams right now and go out there and make the best of it. Okay, thanks everybody. Bye. All right.